welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a marvelous day or evening or whatever time of day it is when you're watching this. I hope you are good. If you notice that my backdrop was gone and you're wondering why, they were working on the floor in my beauty room and I had to take it down. I just haven't put it back up yet. Also, if you notice a part of my lip is swollen, that's because it is. My daughter headbutted me with her teeth and so it is now swollen, and yeah. Today, I just really wanted to dive into some stuff that I already owned. I haven't been really buying anything new recently with everything that's going on. And I've been looking outside and everything's turning green and it's beautiful and there are little pink and white flowers budding on all of the trees, and it just makes me feel so refreshed and alive after the cold, dead winter. I wanted to mimic what is going on outside in nature on my eyes. So I really wanted to use these two things from Colourpop. This is a Jelly Much eyeshadow in the shade Into Focus, and this is a Super Shock shadow in Semi Sweet. You can use whatever you want in whatever color you want if you're following along. I just want to inspire you to dip into things that you already have. So let's just get right into it. I've already primed my eyes with my Milani primer and this Rimmel Brow Pro Micro. I hate the name of this. I cannot remember to save my life. It's just so weird. But I've really been loving this pen. It is the shade like soft brown, medium brown. I don't know, they didn't put the shade name on the little thingy, but I've been really enjoying it. So what I'm going to do first, I'm actually going to take the blush I'm going to use. This is an Almay Healthy Hue blush in the shade Nearly Nude. And I'm just going to take this on a big brush. And I'm going to kind of use this as a transition shade really lightly. And I'm putting this right in my crease and blending it up above onto my close to my brow bone. Just enough so that the transition between the green and my actual skin tone isn't just stark and harsh, because I don't want that. I still want it to be pretty soft. I'm going to go into the Jelly Much eyeshadow now. I'm going to start by applying it with a little flat shader brush, and I'm putting this along the outer corner. I'm going to take a little blending brush and just barely dip into it just to get some green on the brush. I don't know if you can see that. But now I'm going to softly blend the edges. And with these, I've noticed that it's better to use little pressing motions rather than swiping motions. Just helps it blend easier and quicker without pulling and tugging on your eye a lot. I keep dipping back in light layers, building up to the intensity that I want. Just like so. And then I'm going to go into the Super Shock shadow just with another flatter brush. This one's kind of bigger because I'm going to cover more surface area with it. And I'm going to lightly press this on my lid and then kind of melting it in with that Jelly Much. I'm going to go back into the shade, the Jelly Much, and swirl that little brush into it and kind of work back and forth with the Jelly Much and the Super Shock just so I can melt these two together, because these Jelly Much do dry down pretty quickly when on the lid. I find that working in smaller amounts, going back and forth, gives me more control. I'm going to go back into the Super Shock and just use my finger now and press that right on the edge to give me a little bit more of the green right there. I'm not being super careful. If it gets up here, that's fine. I want it to be kind of organic looking on my eye. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other eye. I like to squirt some facial spray or saline solution before and after every time I use these Jelly Muches to keep them nice and jelly-like so they don't dry out. And if I notice that I haven't used one in a long time, then I go in and I squirt some in there just to keep it nice and hydrated. I love this green. It's so happy. I'm going to go back in and blend these together. So cute. And now I really have been wanting to use this Colourpop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Crossed. It's like a bright neon yellow. And I'm going to very lightly put this in a teeny tiny little wing just to give like the hint of that neon color. I'm going to take the brush that had the Jelly Much on it, and I'm kind of going to lightly press over the eyeliner to soften it. Now I'm going to take a makeup wipe and clean up the fallout from the Super Shock. I didn't really have much from the Jelly Much, but I just want to get all those tiny glitters out from underneath my eye. I'm taking that first brush that I had that Jelly Much on, the flatter one, and I'm kind of going over the liner edge to soften it. I'm not using my finger because I don't want to remove any color, and I kind of want to make this yellow a smidge more green-like. I'm just going back and forth between my eyes, making little adjustments where I feel I need it for my eye shape. I like that. Okay, I'm going to use my Milani Soft Focus Glow now. This is the shade, I don't know, it's the lightest shade. I think it's 1 or something like that. I'm gonna start by pressing it on the high points of my face where I want the most glow, and then blending it out from there all over my face. I let that sit and soak into my skin for a minute. Today I'm going to use my Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation. I do not know what's going on with this guy. It's on sale at Physicians Formula and on Ulta's website. There's only like 3 or 4 shades. At my Walmart, the shade selection got reduced back to its original shade range, pretty much. So I don't know what's going on. I hope it's not discontinued, because if it is, I will be so sad, because it's such a beautiful foundation. But I'm sure a lot of you at home have this foundation, and if not, just use your favorite foundation if you're following along. I have the shade FN3. I'm gonna put a little bit on. And then I'm going to use this brush. I have been loving this brush to blend out my complexion. It is the Colourpop F20 brush. I got it in their brush roll, but it's just so nice. I've also been really into applying minimal complexion products. I find that it has made my skin look so much better, even whenever I do have active blemishes. It's just so nice. So that is it for foundation. I want very minimal. I'm actually going to use a trick that Katie Jane Hughes uses. I have never tried this before, but I'm very interested. I'm going to take some concealer. This is the Colourpop No Filter Concealer in the shade Fair 08. And I'm going to take a big fluffy eye brush. This is a Fair 35E. And I'm just going to take it and like really work the product into the bristles until there's nothing left on my hand. And then I'm going to apply it like so, really gently under my eyes. I can tell it did something, but I have very purple. Maybe I picked too fluffy of a brush. Let's try a smaller one with a not matte concealer now, because that was kind of a little bit too drying. I thought I moisturized really good, but I put it on and it's like, ooh, no, stop. Okay, so now I'm going to take the Florence by Mills See You Never Concealer. This is the shade FL025, and I'm gonna put a tiny little dollop, and I'm gonna take a smaller brush. This is a Farrah dual-ended brush, and I'm gonna work it into my bristles and try again. I'm using the lightest pressure imaginable. If you hold the brush further away from the bristles, the lighter you will apply product. And the closer you hold it, the more heavy-handed you will be and the more product you will put on a certain area. So I want it to be really soft. I'm taking whatever is left on the brush and running it around the edges of my mouth because I have a little bit of redness there for some reason, especially down here. Nice. I quite like that a lot. Okay, I'm going to take a small blending brush and I'm going to dip back into the blush, and I'm going to run this. Am I? No, I'm not. I'm going to cover this up real quick. Fix that boo-boo. I'm not going to do anything on the lower lash line. I changed my mind. We're just going to keep it, leave it alone. I think I want to use a cream bronzer today, so I'm going to use the Physicians Formula Sculpting Bronzer in the shade Toffee. I'm going to warm it up on the back of my hand. And I do like to use a sponge for this, so I'm going to pick up some product. I'm being a little bit haphazard with my application because I want my whole face to be kind of more bronzy than sculpted. I'm taking my sponge and kind of rolling it around in the product on my hand and then applying it. I'm also being mindful of where I place it, but also kind of messy, so that my face looks like it's just naturally radiant, but also I want to keep it even on both sides. So I'm just paying attention to where I'm putting my sponge down, if that makes any sense. Gonna place some on my nose here. Gonna take the rest on my sponge and put it down along my jawline and a little bit down my neck and under my lip. Keeping with the nice bronzy theme, I'm going to take a gold highlight. This is a Do Me Baked Highlighter by Estate in the shade Lit. I got it out of an Ipsy bag. I'm actually going to take a little bit of a bigger brush. This is a more tapered guy from BH Cosmetics, and I'm going to put the tapered end into the highlight and then kind of sweep it along the high points. I'm actually, since I haven't powdered up here, I'm actually doing little pressing motions to buff it around, and then I'm taking whatever's left and putting it down here on the apple of my cheek. I'm gonna put some in the bridge of my nose and on the very tips of my nose. Tips? Just one, I just have one nose. Now it's time for blush. I'm going to take my fluffy blush brush, just going to press it on and then do very light buffing motions. I'm gonna put some on my nose and my chin, and then I like to take whatever is left on my blush brush and then press it around where I laid my bronzer down, because I feel like it ties my whole face together better. There are so many birds out right now and I'm so happy. I love the sound. Okay, I think I like where everything's at right there. I'm going to take a little bit of powder. This is the Can Make, I'm pretty sure it's called Marshmallow Face Powder. It is a Japanese brand and I really, really like it. You can get a similar effect from like the Makeup Forever Velvet Skin Powder, or I really like the e.l.f. finishing, the pressed finishing powder, the tinted kind. But I'm just going to very lightly take a smaller tapered brush. This is actually a highlight brush from SL Miss Glam. Tap it in there and then I tap off like most all the extra. And then I barely press it over around the sides of my nose where I have larger pores. And then barely sweeping it above my brows and in between my nose, on the bridge of my nose, on my chin, just a little, and in my smile lines. A little bit goes a very long way. And now I'm just gonna check everything out and make sure everything is how I want it. I like it, but I think I want a little bit more blush. I'm actually going to use a bronzer. This is the Flower Heatwave Luminous Bronzer in the shade Sunrise L1. I dropped it, so my lid popped off. But I'd rather have the lid pop off than have the pan break, so the powder break, so that's good. The reason I'm using this is because on me it turns into a blush, but it's kind of like this more neutrally pink color. It's a little more pink than the Almay one. So I'm going to apply this more so on my apples of my cheeks and then sweep it back. It's like a more peachy, rosy, bronzy color, and I quite like it a lot. And then I kind of wiped the extra off on a towel, and then I kind of like to sweep from my chin up onto my jaw so I don't look like I just have a splotch of pink on my chin here. I'm going to take my powder brush and kind of clean up the line right here. Do any of you have any tips or know how to unclog a squirter? Because my Colourpop Pretty Fresh Spray, it squirts out in just like a stream. So I have to scrub the nozzle opening, and it's still kind of a stream, but I really want to use it, so I'm going to test it. Okay. Now that that's mostly dried down, I'm going to take my sponge and press everything in. I think I used a little bit too much spray, but that's okay. My face will drink it up because I'm very dry today. I hate it when an eyelash falls on your face. Nope, that's a dog hair. Dog hair is everywhere. I'm going to do mascara, and I'm going to use the L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara. This is the Carbon Black one. I want my eyelashes to be present but not overpowering to this beautiful green, grassy look we have going on the eyes. So I really like this one. It gives me length, but it doesn't give me like massive amounts of volume. So I'm gonna put this on real quick and I will be right back. Okay, back. Mascara's on. I wasn't gonna put anything on the lower lash line, but then I decided to. So yes, mascara's on both top and bottom lashes, but I don't have any shadow on the bottom lash line. I forgot an inner corner highlight. Okay, I really want to use this Super Shock from the Sweet Talk palette. So I'm gonna do that. I'm going to take a tiny little lip brush and I'm going to dip into the Super Shock formula in here. It is called Side to Side. And I actually sprayed my brush so I wouldn't get any fallout. And I'm just gonna dab this right on the inner corner. Then I'm pulling it up just a little bit into this little area right here, kind of where my eye socket begins, just to fill in that space. I feel like there's a little weird gap there, so I think this will be nice to place there to add a little bit of warmth. I like it. Now I'm going to put some brow gel on. This is my e.l.f. Wow Brow, and I like to brush them up starting at the tail first. And then I go back to the other side and straighten them out a little bit so they're not too wild. I want them to look wild, but not too wild. Does that make sense? Not like I just slept on my face all night. I think that's as bushy as my tiny eyebrows are gonna get, so it's good enough. Now for lips. I am going to use a Colourpop cream. Is this cream? Doesn't say. It's in the shade Tiptoe. It's a regular bullet lip stick and it's just a nice rosy nude color. And I'm going to kind of press this on instead of swiping it. And then I'm going to take my Milani lip liner in the shade 03 Nude and line my lips. I'm gonna go back into the lipstick and kind of press along where I put the lip liner to kind of melt those two colors together a little bit more. I'm just going back and forth between this liner and the lipstick to create the desired depth and the right balance between the liner and lipstick that I want. If you're following along, you can stop adjusting and fine-tuning at whatever point you feels best or you like the best for your lips. I like where that's at, besides the fact that my lips are uneven. So here is the finished look. Alright, so that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Stay safe, stay healthy. Do not forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you'll be notified every single time I upload a video. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! My daughter headbutted me with her teeth. With her tooth? Why do I have glitter on my face? Oh. I'm kind of gonna... Blah, blah, blah.